Hello everyone, my name is Sadie. Welcome back to my channel, Yin Reiki Light. And so this is part 2 of the narcissist empath relationship dynamic and how it's related to false twins. So one of the things, like I mentioned in the last video, is how you can tell it's a false twin or a narcissist is that when you initially meet them, there's really or initially have an interaction with them, there's no attraction, there's no real connection, and they seek you out. So they pursue you. It's not like, oh, I really like this person and I really want to talk to them. No, you kind of have no feelings towards them whatsoever. And as they're seeking you out, they will suck you in. So one of the things that narcissists do to draw you in is they will love bomb you. Love bombing is like compliments on steroids. As soon as they sort of meet you or get you to go on a date with them, they'll tell you how beautiful you are, that you are like their dream person, how much they admire you, how extraordinary you are, that they're in love with you. They may like literally tell you that they're in love with you or that they're falling in love with you like the first time you guys actually like meet or interact or go on a date. They will tell you, you're the perfect person for me. You're my ideal. They will say things like, I can see a life with you. I wonder what, living with you would be like. I know it would be happy to plan a wedding with you. I mean, they'll just throw the love, attention, affection on you so thick and say things that, the things that get the empath in, like, I really need you in my life. Someone like you is someone that I really need in my life. Once the love bombing, and you're in that sort of period with the love bombing, and once it begins, then they'll start doing a thing I like to call gauging or interviewing. All of the conversations will be geared towards you. And so on the surface, it seems like they're genuinely interested in what you have to say, what your feelings are, what your thoughts are, but really they're just gauging what you like. They're gauging your temperament. They're gauging what they can get away with. They're interviewing you so that they know exactly what to say to keep you drawn into them. They're wanting to know your hopes and dreams and desires, and then they'll start to mimic you by saying, oh, I dream about the same thing, or, oh, I always wanted 3 kids as well, or, oh, I can see us traveling the world together. That would be so incredible. They'll mimic by pretending to enjoy the things that you enjoy. So one of the things this was the time when I was starting to really get into meditation, and I was going to different meditation classes, and he made a point of talking about how he loves to meditate, how he does it every day, how, he was just talking about meditation. But in truth, and I found out later, like he didn't like to meditate. He never meditated. When I brought up, hey, let's go to a meditation class, he would redirect it and be like, no, we can just, hang out at home. Let's go to a nice dinner. Let's do this. Let's do that. He was not genuinely interested in the things that I was interested in. He was just mimicking and pretending to be. That's a big, big red flag. It's a big telltale sign. Another thing is that they will feign emotion. So with the love bombing, with the gauging, with the interviewing, with the mimicking, they really will feign emotion. They'll pretend that they care or pretend that they love you. Like I said, the word love gets said very, very quickly. They don't even know you, but they'll say, I feel like I know you and I'm in love with you. And on the surface, it feels great, but deep down underneath, it kind of feels off. Like you realize, like, wait a minute, like we literally just met and started talking and you're telling me that you love me. Another way that they feign emotion is they feign happiness. So they'll pretend to be happy for you and pretend to be happy around you. And this is the initial stages as they're sucking you in. They'll pretend to be like you. They'll take on sort of attributes and identities that you like. So say you're vegetarian or vegan, they'll pretend that they are too, or that it's something that they've wanted to do for a long time. But once they draw you in, so this is the important thing to really pay attention to. Once they draw you in, once they've they've solidified themselves in your life in some way, you guys have decided, okay, we're dating, or we're boyfriend, girlfriend, or we're in a relationship, however you decide, this is when the ghosting, the dismissive behavior, and the gaslighting begins. So like I mentioned before, they thrive on deception. And so my false twin was really pretended to be into meditation. And so I would say like, hey, let's go to this meditation class, or I saw this thing on meditation. I really want to watch this documentary. He at first would sort of redirect it. Like I mentioned before, no, let's do this. Let's do something else. Then after a period of time, he actually started gaslighting me, saying, I never told you I was into meditation. I don't know what you're talking about. I just think you're crazy. I think you just want everybody to do what you want to do. It started to become like very, it was this weird projection with him where, you know, I'm like, we spent hours talking about meditation and different things like that. And clearly that's not what you're into. So what are you into? That was my response to him, is what do you like? And he's like, well, you should know me by now. You should know all the things that I like and all the things that I enjoy. But really I didn't, because like I said before, when they're interviewing you, when they're having these conversations with you early on, they're really focused on you. When you try to ask them questions about themselves, questions about things that they enjoy, they mimic you. They tell you they like the same things that you like. So when this came up between us, I was like, well, no, because you've always told me that you like what I like. And you're like, so what is it that you really like? What is it that you really want to do? And this is where, because a narcissist doesn't like to be called out. They do not like their mask to be seen. They don't want to be seen for what they really are. So this is where they will start getting angry, hostile, aggressive. Again, the gaslighting, you're crazy, you don't know what you're talking about, you are so dramatic, you always like to pick a fight, you were just having a conversation, like you weren't upset, but because they're saying this and they're projecting this stuff at you, it does get you upset. It does hurt your feelings. A lot of times too, what you'll see after a while, once you're in the dynamic, is that they start becoming very controlling. They want to control what you wear. They want to control what you look like. They want to control how you present yourself, because, again, their main focus is what is pleasing to them in the moment. That's the only thing that they are focused on and motivated by. So if you do something that's not pleasing to them, then they'll be dismissive, then they'll ghost you, then they'll, be cruel and angry. So it becomes this dynamic where you're kind of walking on eggshells with someone. You're afraid to actually speak your mind. You're afraid to speak your truth because you don't want to have an argument, because you want things to be happy and calm. Another thing that's really important to understand and remember about this dynamic too is that oftentimes narcissists have double lives because they thrive on deception. Your narcissist may be married with children and they've told you that they're single or a widow, or, they've told you something that is completely untrue about them. And then later on you find out, and then they'll turn it around on you, basically telling you, I never said I was single. I never said I was widowed. I told you from the beginning what was going on with my situation with my wife and how we've been separated for many years and all these things. And so you actually will start to question yourself. You question and doubt yourself. You question what you hear. You question what you see. And that's part of the game. They want to keep you in a state of confusion, like I mentioned in the last video. Because they're at a lower vibrational energy and they need to feel pleasure in every moment, they're going to take from the higher vibrational person and siphon your energy. They're going to suck the energy. They're literally sucking the life from you. It is very much like a parasite. It's a very much like an energy vampire situation. One of the things that you will see as well is that once you're in it, so after the love bombing stage, once they're starting to be hot and cold, like there's no consistent, it's Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and it can go off like that. Like there's no consistency. There's no consistent behavior. One moment they're hot, the next minute they're cold. One moment they're happy, the next minute they're angry. It's nothing that you've done. It's just, that's just how they are. You start to feel emotionally, mentally, physically drained. You just feel like, God, you have no energy. It drains your joy. It drains your happiness. It drains your peace. It puts you in this state where you're in constant stress, constant worry. And because they're projecting at you, you really take it in like, what could I do better? Why is he acting this way? Why is she acting this way? Because narcissists can equally be a woman. It doesn't have to be a man. And then you start giving more, to turning yourself in knots, giving more, doing more, giving more love, doing more to make them happy, to keep them happy. But it's never enough. It's never enough. It's never appreciated. It's never recognized, and it's never enough. That's one of the telltale signs. They can't actually admit true feelings other than anger, hostility, aggression. So they can't come to you and say, I'm so grateful for you. What they may do though, and this is what happened with my false twin, was that he would put it on Facebook. He would put it, in front of people, like his public persona, his public face in front of people. He seemed literally like the greatest guy on earth. He seemed like the best boyfriend, and everybody would always be like, oh, I wish I had a man that loved me as much as your man loves you. I wish I had a relationship like that. But all the time in my heart, and especially as things continue to develop, because we were together for a few years, I just felt more and more like it was false, like I was living a lie. He would say these things, and yet his behavior was so different from the things that he said. He would pretend to be like the loving, caring partner, and yet it wasn't the case. That wasn't true. you'll see that they will purposely pick fights on you or ghost you on very important days. It could be like your graduation. It could be a family gathering. It could be your birthday or Valentine's Day. You'll notice with the narcissist that they'll purposefully pick a fight or do something so that they're upset with you. You've done something wrong. So an example is like you're at Starbucks and you say thank you to the barista for the coffee. And they look at your narcissist, false twin will look at you and say, you're flirting with that guy. Oh, you'd rather be with him. Oh, you don't love me anymore. And they'll do all these things. And then it's like, no, that's not it at all. I was literally saying thank you. They try to manipulate everything. I remember one time it was my birthday and he got me flowers and a card, and the flowers were beautiful. The card was beautiful. He took a picture of it and put it on Facebook and said, you know, every man should treat their woman like a queen. My woman's a queen. I love her. It's her birthday. Say happy birthday to her. And he got so many responses from that, from women that were friends of his, like, oh, I wish you were my boyfriend. I wish, you know, my man did stuff like that. But later on that day, we were supposed to go out to dinner, and he made an excuse of like, oh, you know, money's really tight. I can't go out to dinner. And then I was like, yeah, okay, we'll just have takeout. And then he's like, no, I'm going to end up having to work late. And then, so I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll see you when you get home from work. And he had really late hours at the job that he had at the time. And later on, I found out that he had actually that night gone out with friends and drank because one of the friends that we were mutual friends with posted it on his Facebook. Even though the guy didn't tag him, I could still see the picture in the feed of them out drinking and partying and stuff like that. So those are common themes that you want to look out for to ensure that you're not with a false twin, to ensure that you're not dealing with a narcissist. You know, like I said, we all get duped on this journey. It's easy. It's easy because there's a lot of false light. There's a lot of people that present to be one way, but really they're not. The best thing that you can do always is just trust your intuition. The vibe doesn't lie. The energy doesn't lie. Pay attention to red flags. Don't make excuses for people's bad behavior. And if you're in one of these situations, know that you deserve better. You don't have to put up with it. Love yourself enough to walk away and to open your heart to someone who will actually show you and give you real love. I hope this video helped. All right. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Take care.